There we go. Hello. And welcome back to day 18 of the 30 days of meditation. My, how time flies. Day 18 already, my friend. Can you believe it? And we're putting it in. We're keeping it going. I hope your meditation's going well out there. On a day like this, Saturday, sometimes meditation is the last thing on your mind. Maybe the first thing on your mind is to do nothing, which is a fine thing to do, right? To just not do anything. Well, that's really what meditation's about, not doing. Which is one of the hardest things to try to do, is to not do anything. Try it. I dare you. Let me know how it goes. Because when you sit down to meditate, we're confronted with all the things that are going on in our minds. And all the things that are going on in our minds are all the things that are going on in our lives. The interactions we have with friends and family, loved ones, not so loved ones, the stress, the good times, looking forward to what's going to happen on Saturday night, what's on Netflix, and, all that. And what's funny is how quickly time flies. Here we are at day 18 already. And 30 days of meditation doesn't seem like a whole lot to commit to. And yet, now you see how difficult that can be. Perhaps it's easy for you. Which would you rather do, 30 days of meditation or 30 lifetimes of meditation? Heck, maybe you can pack 30 lifetimes into 30 days if you're invested enough. And so how invested are you in this meditation stuff? It's a good question to ask yourself. Self-evaluation, self-analysis is an important part of the pathway to self-discovery. You think? Self-honesty, absolutely important. Because there's a lot of people that'll tell you what you want to hear. There's a lot of people that'll lie to you and take your money and pat you on the back and say, good job. Hey, if that's what turns you on, go for it. But I can tell you right now, that's probably not going to help you out in the long run. So, day 18. Did you stick with it? I'm sorry. I just have to go back to that long list of people that said they're in, they're down, they're doing it, we're doing it, woo! 2020! Did that wear off already? Did all that motivation? Again, this is for your own good. I want you to succeed in meditation. This is why I formed the group. There's really no other reason. It worked for me. I would want it to work for others. This is how the system works. When something works for you, you want to return the favor. You want to give back. Hey, what's up? Those of us joining today on the video, tell me, drop a comment. Why are you here? Why are you checking in? Is it to check out this good-looking guy with these sexy muscles? Well, that could be fine too. Or is it to hear the truth? Tell me your truth. Why are you meditating? What led you to join a group called Meditation and Mindfulness? Hello, Teresa. How are you? Thanks for saying hi. So, I ask you, all of you joining in, watching today, what led you to join the group Meditation and Mindfulness? Now, I know because I set up the series of questions that gain you entry to the group. And I set them up for a reason, so I can kind of understand why you're joining, to get to know you a little bit. Because oftentimes people join these groups and then you never hear a peep out of them. You never get to know, how it's going, what their motivation is to meditate. Why are you interested in meditation? For some of us, we're drawn to it. There's an intuitive pull. We just have a feeling that there's something to this meditation stuff that might help us find out who we really are, Because we live in a world of, I've said it before, I'll say it again, we live in a world of bullshit. The Matrix. It's an illusion. Meaning, it's not the most real. I'm not against the world, per se. I'm just a humble guy, believe it or not, that just believes in meditation and kind of the world's the world. That's fine for others. I'm going to stick to my meditation training. I'm going to stick to my workouts, my family, and, doing my thing, right? But for a lot of people, the world has a big pull. It has a draw. We don't want to miss out. And I understand this. It's everyone here has gone through this process of being interested in spirituality, self-discovery, meditation, and then for a while, and we're really enthused and we're really excited, like at the beginning of the challenge, and then we get pulled back into our routines. We get pulled back into the world because there's some really awesome special on Netflix that is more important. Or there's some really awesome sale on the latest designer handbags or whatever you love. Shoes, clothes, jewelry, I don't know. But it's something that keeps us in the world and keeps us away from a serious pursuit of meditation. For the majority of us. For some of you who are dedicated and motivated, this talk is not for you. You are already on your way. You're meditating every day already. Nobody needs to remind you. No one needs to inspire or meditate you. And my hat is off to you. I only hope that you will help inspire and motivate others and participate. If you're listening to this video and you're in the group, and you're doing that already, good job. Keep it up. I want to see more. I would love to see more interaction in the group from those of you who are that seek to inspire others and motivate others with meditation. And that's what it's all about, because we know, those of us who meditate, how challenging it can be to stick with a practice, because the world has this big draw, especially on a weekend, especially on a Saturday afternoon. Here it is, 4 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon on the East Coast of the good old US of A. It's raining out, and for most of us, the last thing we would think to do is, it's time to sit down and meditate. But here's the problem. If not today, when? If not you, who? Right? You who? It's a great drink if you like chocolate milk. Rabin, Rahu in the 8th house, Ketu in Pisces. This world is a simulation of some sort. That's why. Love it. Absolutely. And a lot of people talk about the simulation theory, and I think that falls right into the Buddhist idea of Maya, that everything is an illusion. All appearances are an illusion. You could call it a simulation in a way, that this whole world was created and we're kind of just going through a training, perhaps, in this world. And those of us that get stuck in a lower grade, kind of cycle through and recycle over and over again until you kind of learn the lessons necessary to make it to the next grade and next level, and you eventually incarnate into a higher world. There's those theories as well. You know, and I do believe in reincarnation. It seems quite simple that nature is a cycle and we're part of nature. And, you know, makes sense to me. So, yeah. And yet, there's very relative realities within various levels. So, you know, I'm sitting here talking to you today. There's a relative reality to this conversation. Is it real? Is it an illusion? Well, I think some people would say that everything is real, but not everything is permanent. There's various levels of permanence and impermanence within creation. And heck, if you're wise, you'd probably want to go toward the more permanent. Those seem more real because they last longer. And what's the most permanent thing? The eternal. And I say it, you know, with some glib, but that's just who I am. But eternality, life is eternal. So when are we going to wake up? When are we going to realize that you're just repeating the same cycle over and over and over again, unless you actually stop and make a change, unless you actually get off the wheel, like the Buddha says. He's pointing off of the wheel of life, the cycle of reincarnation, the cycle of, and to me, every day is the same, meaning we live in a microcosm of a macrocosm. Each day we wake, we're born again to a new life. Each day we sleep is a death. We go through the dream plane. The dream plane is the bardo. How you dream, what comes up in your dreams, is a good indicator of your attachments, the deeper subconscious desires of your mind. How lucid you can become in your dreams is a good indicator of how refined your consciousness is, and how conscious you can remain in finer and more subtle planes of awareness. So the dream plane is very interesting. When you become proficient in meditation, you should notice your dreams become more lucid. You can become awake in your dream. And life is a dream. Life is about becoming awake. The spiritual process is about awakening. You know, it's funny. When I started this group, I named it 30-Day Meditation Challenge, because that's what it started was, because I wanted to invite all my friends and family to dedicate themselves to meditating daily, because I knew that when you dedicate yourself to meditating daily, that's when you get progress. That's when you overcome the conditioning, because it takes a lot of work, or maybe not, depending on your karma, depending on your conditioning. It might take a lot of work for you, I know it has for me, to overcome a lot of the conditioning, because every single day we're picking up more and more. Lifetime after lifetime, we're picking up more and more. Unless we actually work on overcoming the conditioning, you're just accumulating more layers. It's like insulation, covering up the core of what we are, and the truth and the beauty and the love and the light, for a lack of a better cliche. Our essence. Our essence is pure consciousness, the pure awareness that is the essence of all things. Yes, indeed, you are it. Andy, what's up? You say, still working on reconditioning. Exactly. It is a ongoing process. Even the highest level master doesn't stop just because they attain a certain level. And the reason for this is because this world that we live in has such a gravity. that pulls us back to it. It's like how mass attracts more mass. You have a group of people, and then you have one person standing away from it. The group of people is like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you got, what's up, man? And then you got this one person standing away. Well, chances are that person's going to be kind of pulled into that rah, rah, rah of the group, or that blah, blah, blah. Because group think has a great gravity of pull. And so the world is a symbolic representation of all the people in it. So what's the vast majority of people doing out there today? Well, they're participating in commerce. They're working. They're, let's face it, they're unhappy. They're stressed out. They're doing a lot of stuff. Now, granted, there's a lot of people out there partying. There's a lot of people out there watching whatever. Hey, there's a fight on tonight, right? McGregor versus the other guy. That should be interesting. But it's all of these things, no matter what it is, no matter what you're into. We get pulled into these distractions. We get pulled into these, and you know, I'm not against having fun and living in the world. You know, and if you can do that and still be dedicated to your meditation, well, that's the best of both worlds, right? Because I think the world can be a fun place. You know, we're here to have fun. We're here to live it up. We're here to fulfill dreams, to manifest our dreams, to participate in the creation. But I've just seen it all too many times. It's very easy to get lost. It's very easy to get off of the path and to forget why we're here. Why were we born? Why were we incarnated into such a world, such a condition, such a state of consciousness? So these are very good questions to ask yourself. The self-analysis is important on the path of self-discovery. You should constantly always analyze, why am I thinking what I'm thinking today? Why am I happy today? Why am I depressed today? Why am I looking for a distraction today? Every single moment ultimately becomes an opportunity to practice. A refinement of the being begins to take place when you stay on the path. When you meditate every day, you're making a choice, a conscious choice that you are on the path toward refinement, betterment, what some call self-discovery, enlightenment, realization. It's a choice that many make, and it's a choice that many aren't even aware is out there. We live in a plane of existence that has many different levels of beings in it. Call it karma, call it consciousness, and you know, that's why I see this world as a school. You know, when you go to school, let's say elementary school, right? It's like an elementary school, basically. You got grades K through 6 usually. Sometimes it goes K through 8, depending on their school. But there's many different people at different levels of evolution, spiritual evolution here on this plane. And so, you know, we're not really concerned. Hey, what's up, Renja? Hope I'm saying that correctly. How are you? We're not really concerned with what the second, third, fourth graders are doing, per se. If you're in 8th grade, you know that at one time you were in 4th grade, and the things you thought at that point, you know, are different from what you think and know, and the perspective of the world and yourself is different as you go up in the grade levels. And so life is like that here on this earth plane. We live in a training school for consciousness. We incarnate whatever, for whatever reason, whether you're coming back because you desired something of the flesh, or you just were stuck on this thing and you just couldn't get away from it, and so it pulled you back. And believe me, I don't claim to know all the specifics of the after-death process. But I look at life for clues. I look at the fact that, you know, can life be much different than death? And this is talked about in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. In the Tibetan Book of the Dead, they say that, you know, we enter the Bardo plane. after life? Well, to me, the bardo is no different than the dream plane. When we go to sleep, it's a death. We enter into the dream plane and we go through experiences, some conscious, some unconscious, some lucid, some uncontrollable. And this is a good indicator of what your experience after death will be. Meditation is a training for after death. Because guess what? After death, you're going to lose the body. And then you're not going to have the ability to, okay, everything's okay. I'm on Facebook. The world is what it is. I'm in the box. I'm in the matrix. Everything's cool. Everything's cool, man. Everything's going to be okay. Well, it's not. It's not going to be okay. What's my goal by doing meditation? Oh, gosh. I'm on the pathway of self-discovery, Renja. I've been, interested in the practice of meditation for 30 years. I began meditating when I was 15 in my first martial arts school, and I was interested in self-mastery because I looked around at life and I saw many people. I grew up in a Catholic religion, of all things. Lots of fun. Lots of good times there. And at a certain age, I woke up and realized that most people here are kind of blind and unconscious. But yet, why did I see it and they didn't? So I looked for answers. I looked for clues. Martial arts seemed to me a good starting point because I saw in the master someone who was able to control themselves. They were seeking a ability that it seemed most people were not interested in. Now, later in life, of course, I learned more about Buddhism and Taoism and all sorts of different isms. And I don't claim to follow any particular ism or religion or call it anything. I prefer to remain undefined because I think when you define yourself or your practice, you kind of solidify this idea of who you are, and it makes it very difficult to change. If I'm Buddhist today, will I be and I change? Do I have to be Buddhist tomorrow? No. But we can absolutely take from all of these isms, philosophies, practices, and take what's best for us as individuals. Every individual has a different path. A path to enlightenment, ultimately, to answer your question, is why I meditate. For whatever reason why you meditate, whether it's sort of just as a stress relief or an anxiety relief or to overcome, past traumas or the mental chatter, I think meditation will give you all of that. At a certain point, there needs to be a deeper reason to keep you meditating. So I'm a firm believer that meditation is the path to enlightenment. It's the short path, which is why I teach single-pointed Kundalini meditation on the chakras, which is what I'm demonstrating here today and what I'm about to do in a few moments. And what I've been doing here every day in the group during the 30-day meditation challenges ever since. I was fortunate enough to be found or discover an enlightened teacher in this life, which is rare. Doesn't make me special, it's just who I was meant to meet. And I was fortunate enough to study with this individual. His name is Rama, Dr. Frederick Lenz. And, I've never been the same since. But that's a story for another time. It's not about me. This is all about you. I come here for you and your sake, just to inspire, to motivate, because I know my whole point of this rant is that it's difficult to stay motivated in a world where meditation's not on the top of everyone's list. Self-discovery is not, and the path to enlightenment is not necessarily everyone's desire or pursuit in this life. And that's completely fine, completely understandable. And as meditators, as people who are interested in these things, it's important to have a certain allowing of all kinds of conditions of individuals around us. And this is why meditating is so important, because we need to maintain our own conviction, our own path, our own dedication. And that's why I do this. I do this because I love. I do this because it's all about love. You know, when you reach a certain point in your path of meditation, you want other people to have this experience, because this experience can be bliss. This experience can be ecstasy. The transcendence of the limitations of the self. When you go beyond thought, when you go beyond into higher planes, it's magic. It's real. It's more real, perhaps, than the experience we have in this life. And so this is why I share. This is why I seek others that are interested to help them, because I know that somebody helped me at one point, and giving back is really the key to life. Call it service, call it whatever. But at a certain point, you just have the feeling that, you know, I want to help other people who are interested in this subject. You know, I'm not knocking on people's doors. I'm not cold calling you in the middle of the night. Hello, sir. Are you interested in meditation? Well, I've got a deal for you. No, I've created a group. I'm attracting, hopefully, people that are interested in meditation and mindfulness so that I can be of service to them. And it's not an ego thing. Obviously, hey, I'm just doing this because I know it's right. It's basically it. Renja says, thank you. Do you always find light, or is it sometimes other thing that come up when you try to sit in silence? Oh gosh, everything comes up, Renja. You know it. The technique that I'm sharing with you here in the group, or demonstrating, that I also teach in private coaching groups. And I just started the private coaching, guys. I haven't been doing this for very long. I kind of just got to the point in my life. I'm 46 years old. I know I look good for my age, don't I? No. I'm 46. I'm realizing that, heck, I don't have a lot of time left. I better get out there and start sharing my experience and my knowledge and to help people. Who knows how much time we have, right? And so this technique that I do, I call it the 5 steps to stillness. It begins with gazing at a yantra. You use your eyes to open-eyed look at the Sri Yantra, which is also available for free download and print out at the top of the group in the announcements section. You can see that. You've probably all seen it. It's the diagram. If you're not familiar with what a yantra is, it's just a geometric design. It has a dot in the center. You stare at the dot. You see me starting my meditation looking at the wall, like, who is this crazy guy just staring off into space? Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm beginning to warm up my concentration by looking at that dot. And then I move to my navel chakra, and I do the same thing, but I do it with a feeling, holding my attention on the feeling. And then I move up to the heart chakra, and then the third eye. And then after that, there's a period of what I call the 5th step, which is a step of just non-doing. That's when the true meditation really begins. Everything up to that point, I think we have all the time in the world. Well, you can go ahead and think that. Renja says she thinks we have all the time in the world. Well, what do you think? Do you think you'll live forever, Renja? I'm asking you. Do you think you'll live forever? Come on now. It's not true. I have to tell you, it's not true. You don't have all the time in the world. You have now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Next year is not guaranteed. Future lives are not guaranteed, my friend. I have to be honest with you. Because I care. I could say, oh yeah, you got all the time in the world. Awesome. Without a sense of urgency. And that's not to say that there has to be somewhat stressed out, crazy, I have to get it all done today type of approach. But this is why I recommend dedicating a daily practice. Because each and every day, if we try hard each and every day, then that's enough. That's good enough. You should live life happily. You should live life balanced. But there also needs to be a period of training when you push it as hard as you can. This is why I recommend this meditation technique, because it's beautiful in that you begin with an extreme amount of intensity, because you have to break out of that mundane mindset. We don't have all the time in the world. There has to be a certain sense of urgency. I don't know how old you are physically, but let's face it, the average person lives to about 70 or 80. If you're lucky or unlucky, you live longer. But it doesn't matter how long you live, it matters how you live each and every day. Each and every day will prepare you for whatever there is to come. If we live life like this is our last day, then you'll be all set, won't you? Because this could very well be your last day. But you'll probably be reborn again. And if you think that's good news, well, I've got news for you. Do you really want to go back through all that shit you already went through? That unconsciousness? Who knows? You want to go back through puberty? It seems nostalgic and fun, doesn't it? To think back, oh, the good times we had, right? I don't know. I'm not so convinced anymore. So in each meditation session, we do as best a job as we can. What else can we do? We can only do the best we can. So this is why I like this meditation technique, because in the very beginning, you're trying extremely hard to focus and concentrate and still the mind by holding it with willpower, all of your attention. This is the single-pointed mind technique. It's not for everybody, I get it, but it's for those who sense that they don't have all the time in the world and that they need to make use of what time they have in the best way possible, in the best manner possible. But to know that at the end of the day you did all you could, and to be happy with that, and to not be stressed out and not sleep well. When you go to sleep, you just drift off to a nice blissful, oh, I enjoyed my day, I did all I could, and it's okay. Whatever happens next is okay. Because I gave it my all today. I didn't slack. I didn't sit and watch TV all day knowing that I probably should meditate. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So as you go up higher in the chakras, you become more still. For me, it takes a good 15-20 minutes to really reach stillness. And to answer your question, do I go into the light every time? No, not every time, but I have. And in the past, when I was meditating twice a day for 45 minutes a day, I was able to go into the light. What's this light? What's this light you're talking about? Well, if you're not familiar with the light, higher dimensional planes of existence, of awareness, are light. It's light. Frequency, the highest frequency. These are called the causal dimensions. The planes of light. Everything is light. But in this dimension, we see everything as solid because we're perceiving everything through the senses. And the senses are physical. But the senses are more than what we've been taught and told. which is a whole nother subject for a whole nother time, as to how to use your senses for more than just what we've been told they're used for, right? But that's a whole other subject. And then you become still and just be and not do. This is the true meditation of not doing, not focusing, not concentrating, and just merging. The true meaning of yoga is union. Union with the highest light in the universe. Union with the divine. Union with nirvana. Whatever you want to call it. God. This is the true purpose of meditation, my friend. Submerge with the truth. The ultimate reality. Truth with a capital T. The truth of who and what you really are. We're all that. And with that said, let's get to the meditation, shall we? You guys know I can sit here and talk all day about this stuff. I love it. I love you, and I love that you're here with me today, joining me. So let's meditate, okay? Here we go. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Here we go. Thank you for sticking with me today. It was a good one. And we'll see you in the next one.